Hey guys, it's the Mad Master here, doing another video. And this is a really serious subject this time. It's about social anxiety. I know I've done two previous videos, or maybe three previous videos about this, but this one's probably going to be the most serious one. And basically, I'm doing this kind of as a catharsis, or just to get everything out there. I don't know, what the reason is. But anyways, here it goes. I've had social anxiety the majority of my life. I would say probably starting in elementary school. You know, I did little things for attention a lot of the time. I would say things, but I always had a problem with talking to people and just in one-on-one situations. And I was picked on a lot since I was very young. So, and I was picked on for various reasons. From my weight to just being a weirdo. Like in eighth grade, I disco danced in class just to be funny, but people started to associate that with me, and then wanted to kick my ass because of it. I did all these different things. I've always been involved with these little, pleas for attention, these little comedic things. At the same time, I was always really shy, and I can't really remember when it started, as far as when the worst social anxiety, started or whatnot. I do know, however, though, that seventh grade was really a turning point. I'd gone to this alternative school for sixth grade, and I had kind of a blast. I was kind of a little punk kid. I was getting into metal and punk music, and I drew anarchy symbols on my notebooks, and I did a lot of stuff for attention, but I was able to talk to people to some extent. Of course, I was very sensitive. You know, I remember one time I was accused of farting in class, which seems ridiculous now that someone would be like, I would be like, feel bad about that, but I didn't fart that time. But then they kept saying I did. Oh, you're farting in class. Oh, I just fucking left. I bailed. I went home crying. I had a lot of troubles getting picked on. All my life. So I don't know to what extent I was bullied or picked on compared to other kids who would get, have less problems or more problems. I can't really say, but I know that I was very sensitive, and my dad says it's because of my parents' divorce partly that I withdrew from people, but I don't, I really don't remember. I know them fighting all the time didn't really give me the uh, best impression, but so basically, I still struggle with social anxiety even to this day. Uh, a lot of people don't understand social anxiety, and they don't really get it. Last night, I went to this like meetup group, and I was talking to some people, but they just didn't understand why I wasn't talking that much. And then this woman kind of figured it out. I don't know. It's weird though, because my social anxiety, sometimes I do things like, for example, years ago, I'm getting into this a little bit more. I'd go out with these guys and kind of try to approach women and stuff, and I would do it, but I would walk off after a couple, maybe a couple minutes, because I would just get so afraid with social anxiety. And that I really suffered because of that, because that was a part of my life. It still is a part of my life. I wanting to improve, and when you're stuck in this trap of social anxiety, it's really bad, for that part of your life. So people wonder why, you know, I go after younger women, not super young, but 10 years or more sometimes. I'm just giving away my age. I mean, they're all legal, but they are all legal, by the way. So that just gives away my age. But I don't care, whatever. You know, I why I do that is because sometimes, and this doesn't happen all the time. Uh, I feel like I'm catching up with the rest of the world. So women around my age are married or have children, or they're kind of, if they're like kind of cynical, or what's the word? I don't know. I can't think of the word right now, but they're jaded. That's the word. So if they're like around my age, a lot of times it's like they've already been through it all. So I feel like in a way, dating women in their 20s or whatever, you know, early mid 20s sometimes is not always a choice that I make, but it just seems like there's more of an option, more of a pool, especially at my level that I'm at in life. And I used to be really adamant about that being the case. Now, I don't mind dating women that are, 5 years younger than me anymore or anything like that. But I used to have this thing where I wanted to date women that were, especially, the last 6 years, as I've gone through my aging, I've aged a little bit more, and I kind of used to have that thing going on. Like I had to make up So My Wild Oats and all this shit because I didn't actually really have a lot of girlfriends in my 20s. So, oh, I most want to date a 22-year-old the rest of my life. It's like, I mean, that was kind of a thing, but that's a little off subject right now. So because, I didn't really know how to connect with women or how to connect with people growing up, or through most of my 20s, I had a few girlfriends, but they were all setups, I didn't, and in a way, having them all be setups made me not appreciate them as more in a certain way. Like I was like, oh, well, even before I discovered some of this dating stuff, like some of these like dating gurus and stuff, I really didn't understand. Like I mean, no, I did understand that I felt like I didn't deserve them because I didn't get them through my own volition, really. Maybe I did to some extent, but I felt like it was just like, oh, they were set up. It was easy, Nobody likes things that are easy. I'm the type of person that likes to work hard at something and get it. I feel more appreciative of it. So that's part of that. But anyways, a lot of people don't understand social anxiety, and even more so, they don't understand how it affects things in the ways that they do. And then some people sometimes they overestimate what social anxiety does. Like I might not be in the mood to do something or go somewhere, and they're like, "Oh, it must be that social anxiety." No, it's just fucking just don't feel like it, or whatever. I might not like a band or something. I just don't want to go to some show or something else or whatever. And people blame social anxiety, and that's cool that they are on that level. I'm grateful that they're on that level of things, even if it's not always the case. Rather than people like, why don't you talk? Well, why do you talk during this pain? It's like, and obviously I like to talk. I also wouldn't be on fucking YouTube. That's the thing. I do like to talk. My friends know that, and the girlfriends that I have had know that I like to talk. So I'm not a quiet person. I'm just a person that suffers from extreme social anxiety in certain situations. And I'm maybe whatever you want to call me, an introvert. I hate the Myers-Briggs bullshit and all these fucking classifications and all this shit. It's like astrology or something. It's like the scientific equivalent to astrology. What type of personality are you? Yeah. Why not have choice in your personality? As some of my gurus have said. But, so yeah, social anxiety. I mean, I know I'm looking at some notes now, but I get some at work. I get a lot of obsessive thoughts. Like, it's really this negative cloud. Like, if I say hi to this person, they don't like me in any ways. They think I'm a weirdo. It's almost like OCD. It's like it happens over and over again. And this happens with people too, like that I know. Not my real close friends, but some people I know, and this has happened over the years. If I'm not on a certain level with someone, I fear that they're going to abandon me. And that happens with women as well. Not as much in a certain way after a while. The limited amount of really long-term relationships I've had, I kind of went the opposite road a lot of the time. Unfortunately, like I just didn't, wasn't fully committed to them probably. And yeah, I mean that's something that happens. So I mean, the average day is I wake up, whatever, I eat something, and then I go to work. And the first thing I think is that, oh, there's a person out there I'm going to try to avoid. This is I'm just going to go through my whole day. The person I'm trying to, I'm going to try to not talk to them because I don't want to, I feel embarrassed. And this is actually what's going on in my head. And even through all the, the pills and all the fucking, I mean, maybe I haven't done enough of certain types of therapy or certain things in situations, especially lately. Like I go through some stuff, some kind of, affirmations or some kind of cognitive behavioral stuff, and I do a lot better. But it's like it has to be a constant, never-ending thing, of course, and that's the part of that I haven't really, up until now, I haven't really grasped that I have to do that. So I go out, so people are smoking. I'm like, oh, well, I hope they don't see me. That's the first thing I think when I'm walking in, because I don't want to really talk. I feel weird talking to them, especially if someone at work I don't really know. It's not that I don't like them. It's just like, oh, I don't know what they're gonna say. What are they? And then I also think this is fucked up. And this is also what I think is like, well, if they, what if I don't say anything? It's better not to see them at all than to feel so fucked up about seeing them that I don't say anything, or the opposite, the other way. So these two things are going on in my head. Just walking into the fucking building. And then let's say I see someone that I know or I've maybe trained. I feel a little bit better with them because I know that they'll say hi to me, or I don't have to say hi to them, but I try to if they make eye contact. And I feel a little bit better about that. Maybe that's a little bit of progress. But still, I'm at loss for words with them overall. So then I go upstairs. I take the elevator usually in the morning to my cubicle. And then immediately I turn on my computer. I get there early and I try to read and all this shit, read all these books, go on the internet. I'm trying to do less of the internet stuff because that wastes a lot of time that I'm trying to progress in life and get a lot of reading done. So then I'm just like, there's people around me. I know that sometimes I talk to them, but I don't say hi. And I feel really weird saying hi in the cubicle. Like if I'm walking down the row or whatever and I see them and they make eye contact, I can usually say hi. I was like, hi, and then I can say hi. But that's where I feel I freeze up in the cubicle even worse. And I'm just like, oh man, I'm just going to read. They might say hi and I'll say hi back, That's where it gets even worse because I just feel really weird. And I can't say people's names and I feel freaked out. I feel this tinge of embarrassment if I say someone's name. It's like, hi, hi, Steven. There's nobody I know names really that many people I know I named Steven at work, but hi, Steven. I can't fucking do that kind of shit. I can't say hi to people. It's like this weird thing. Like I can't say their name. I can say hi. But I can't say their name. I feel really weird. This tinge of embarrassment. So that's what happens. That's just the first 10 minutes of me being at work. And then, I go through the day and I'm just like, I feel this fear and this apprehension of talking to people. And then I listen to their conversations. I feel weird about speaking up sometimes. And then I'm just like, oh, they're not talking to me. So it's this ever-ending cycle in my head. Like, oh, they're not talking to me. They must not like me, blah, blah, blah. And then they might say something and surprise me. I'm like, oh, yeah, no, whatever, about whatever. And then I go, I go home and then I try to run the fuck out of there so I don't have to talk to people on the elevator. Because I try to log off first so I can run to the elevator. Because I feel really weird on the elevator. And then going outside, I feel worse too. So that's my whole day with social anxiety at work. Now, how does it affect other things? Well, you can just imagine, because these thoughts are cycling through my head at all times, and they're feeding upon themselves. So that's like, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And then you want to, okay, so there's the other side where my misanthropy comes in and my hatred of normal people, even though I'm working a normal job. So I'm like, oh, they like that pop country shit? What the fuck? Like they're wearing that patriotic American jingoist shirt. What the hell is wrong with them? Or fucking, why would they like that shit? So I start thinking about that and I'm just like, in my head, I'm just like starting to think about, oh, they probably have 5 kids and live in fucking suburbia, and boring bullshit, and they're fatter than me, usually. Fucking boring, fucking normal white people, you know, and start thinking of all this stuff. I mean, it comes in flashes. It doesn't go that, like, in that much detail sometimes, but that's kind of how it works. So that kind of adds to my weirdness at work. If anybody from work watches this video, they probably fucking hate me now. But I'm just laying it all out, you know. So whether or not it's a superiority complex or inferiority complex, I mean, remains to be seen. But you know, that's how I feel about that kind of stuff. So how does it affect me outside of work? Now, that's a tricky thing because it's varied throughout the years. I'll give you an example. So let's say I'm on an online dating website and I get a date. You know, I'll go meet her. I'll go meet the woman or whatever at a bar or a restaurant or whatever, and I'll be like, "Hey, hi, how are you?" You know, I introduce myself usually about 50% of the time, or maybe more, which is weird for me, but it's so structured, and you know, it's like this structured thing, so I feel more safe. I think that's what it is. I feel more in control because it's structured. It's like I'm supposed to meet them. If there's that you know, nebulous lack of certainty with it, then it's less or more anxiety ridden. So that's what happens with that. And then, you know, I'm probably a little quiet at first, and then I start making jokes, and it gets a little better, you know. Usually it takes about probably 20 to 30 minutes of sitting with someone to feel really more comfortable, especially with a woman. And I'm weirder with guys in a certain way than with women that I date. Because I'm like, once I get a certain point with a woman, I feel really comfortable. Maybe it's just my sex drive coming in. You know, it's really weird because sometimes I feel less anxiety after, you know, I do something, do stuff with them. So, you know what I mean, do stuff. I don't really feel the anxiety anymore after that point. I've never really I've rarely dated any women that I felt like that much anxiety, as much as social anxiety as I do with people in general in the relationship like that. I feel pretty comfortable, make jokes, you know. Maybe that's a certain maybe benefit to me that I can really lay back with you know, once I get to know a woman. So that's kind of what this is going to be, a super rambling video because this is just for a catharsis. I don't give a shit. People might not like it, but whatever. I feel like doing this video. It's just it's for me. You know, if people like it, then they do. They don't, watch another video. I'll keep doing them because I'm going to do a bunch of new videos. So that's another thing. So with men, with loose not acquaintances, but male friends that I'm not super close to, and with women when I'm first starting out, some of the time, depending on my mood or state of mind. Like, let's say I have like 5 dates in a month, which actually, believe it or not, looking at me, it has happened. Well, 4 dates in a month. Believe it or not, it's happened. Not in a long time, but you know, it's happened. Maybe it was 5 dates in 1 month, and then I started dating someone as a result of that. I can't remember, but yeah, let's say I have 5 dates in a month, and then a girl flakes on me after that. I'm like, whatever, you know. But if it's been like 6 months since my last girlfriend or whatever, you know, casual relationship or whatever, I'm like, oh, whoa, what's going on? I don't get really overbearing about it because I'm so paranoid. And I don't know if I'm going to cover this in this video, but I have this weird thing with my cell phone and texting. Like, I'll turn off my phone because I'm paranoid about getting it. It's like that thing before about getting a text, talking to someone but not talking to someone, avoiding it altogether. So I'm just like, oh, fuck, I'm scared. I'm going to get a text and I have to do the work to talk to this person. But I'm also scared they're not going to respond or not talk to me. So I get really fucking mixed up. And there's certain people that I'm not super close with yet, or, you know, in general, that I get really, like in certain situations where I meet people, I get really paranoid. I'm like, and my thoughts loop over and over again. Oh my God, they're not going to talk to me. I mean, it's even going on right now with someone. I'm afraid they're not going to talk to me. You know, if I fucking ask them to do something, I'm just like, shit, I'm scared, man. They're just going to blow me off. And that goes on a lot of the time. And so, with regards to with men, the social anxiety is almost worse in a certain way, but with women, it's a special kind of bad because I'm just afraid. I'm afraid of talking to them sometimes, and I don't know. They're kind of like to me, it's almost like a different species of because it's like they're just so different than. I mean, in the past they've been kind of like that, kind of like an alien, or I'm the alien. Actually, that's more what it's like. So that's paranoia, and my energy is scattered all the time, and the thoughts are obsessive, and they loop around and around, and I just have all these problems. So I don't know. People just don't understand social anxiety disorder, and hopefully, if they really like thought about it, what is going on, if they knew what was going on in my head at all times, they might be a little more understanding in certain situations. And that's basically the point of this video. It's like, well, I have now I've improved. There's certain like I said, there's like certain compartmentalized situations where I can do okay. And like if I'm actually on a streak of where I'm approaching women more and I feel good about it, at the bars or whatever, I feel a lot better about it, then I do pretty good as far as social anxiety goes. But then, like let's say I'll give this example, and this I've only gone out and approached and done this approaching women thing once before, like this past year, like for any extended period of time. That was years ago. A lot of reasons why I stopped doing that. I did get in a relationship for a while, and there's other things that happened. But now I'm trying to get back into some of that stuff at this age. I don't give a fuck. But it's one of those things that was weird was when I was working at one of my previous jobs, is that I would do that at night or on my days off, and then I'd go to work and still have social anxiety. And maybe that's why I haven't taken the plunge in the past, up until now, taken the plunge into doing that, is because hardcore, full on, is because I felt like this cognitive dissonance. It's like, how could I go out and say some weird shit at a bar and go to work and be like, "Hi, how's it going?" Ugh. It's like fucking like this split personality. And I've decided I'm not going to give a fuck. I'm just going to go out and do whatever I want. I mean, as long as it's legal and whatever. But I mean, that's just the fact. So that's part of the reason why I realized that I didn't do a lot of that, or haven't gone full on into that. But overall, social anxiety has affected my life adversely, really badly. And certain situations it gets better for a while, and then it gets worse. But I'm really looking for a cure of social anxiety this year. I'm hopefully gonna do some cognitive behavioral therapy, as well as some other means of doing things, and I'll get better. I think I'll get better. I don't know if I'll completely ever eradicate social anxiety, but I think that I can get to a point where I can be comfortable with myself enough not to freak out or have these obsessive thoughts. And that's the first thing, is to get those obsessive thoughts out of the way, or at least try to ignore them, or I don't know, trying to get, maybe, there's like, I'm doing like some magic stuff, like some occult kind of magic, neurolinguistic programming kind of affirmations, and like imagining like energy, and like transmuting energy and all this shit, and meditation and all this stuff. I'm into some weird shit, honestly, but I don't give a fuck if some like cynical atheist watches this and like, that man, you had me before, but that's woo woo shit. Well, fuck you. I don't give a fuck. I whatever serves people's purposes. If Scientology like helped me, I would use it. Of course, I would never be part of the church. But anyways, I'm rambling on. This is the end of the video. I don't give a fuck if you enjoy it. I enjoy it. I enjoy doing this video because it's a catharsis. And there will be more to come, of course, and better videos, and videos you want to watch. But I just wanted to get this across.